Hey travelers, Mag, Awesome Baboon, and Inextricable Fate here, finally beginning our exploration of Japan. I'm very excited because Inextricable Fate came over from Hiroshima to meet us, and together we're going to take on the remaining prefectures that we need here in Shikoku. Today we're going to be taking on 2 prefectures, starting here in Ehime and moving on into Kochi from there. That's all we have on the schedule today, and that's going to be a full day for us. For the most part, our entire day is going to be here in the city of Imabari, and we're going to start out by trying to get to the top of the tallest building here in the city. Now, whether or not we can get to the top of that building, I'm not sure. The geocache does not give us a lot of info to work with, but we're going to go give it a try nevertheless, because it's right there. After that, we're gonna head on down the road to go see a castle in the city, and then we'll finish things off at the Taito World Plaza arcade before we head down the road to finish up our day. I'm excited to see what today has in store for us, and I'm excited to take you along as we tour our way through Japan. So come on, let's go. Welcome to the city of Imabari. With a population of about 150,000 people, this is the second largest city in the Ehime prefecture, right behind Matsuyama. We're standing at our ground zero. Awesome Baboon has his marching orders. Let's see if you can grab this one big guy. He zeroed in on this find without delay, showing his years of experience caching. Oh, like a champ, yeah. We choose to keep our original parking spot and walk our way over to the tallest building in the city, rather than driving. This gives us an opportunity to check out many of the sights along the way. Whether in the United States, Japan, or another country, you'll always get to see more if you have a chance to explore on foot. Awesome Baboon is going to jump in there and make this find. You ready for it? Straight in front of us. You're here. Cache is really close to you. Alright, Inextricable Fate. It might be. Oh, maybe? Success! Nicely done. High five. Nice. We're not even entirely sure what the tallest building in the city is until we get close and discover it's none other than the Imabari Castle Hotel. It only takes the first step into the lobby to realize that this is a very fancy place to come stay in the city. While it would be a simple enough thing for us to ask for directions, we always try to find our own way first. If you don't know where to go, you can always stop and ask for a little bit of information. Unfortunately, the information board did not give us what we were looking for, so we made our way over to the elevator banks instead and found that they didn't quite reach up to the top. Upon inquiring with the hotel staff, we learned that there's a bar near the roof, but it's only open in the evening, so that's a no-go for us. Imabari Castle Hotel, the tallest building in Imabari City. Unfortunately, we just went in and asked for a little bit of information, and we could not get to the top of this place for a view. So we found the geocache outside, but we're gonna have to be contented with standing down at the bottom of the tallest building. You good with that? Yeah. It's all right, because we have an arcade coming up, and I know that's gonna be a winner. Before our next stop though, it is well past time for us to grab a little bit of lunch. Lunchtime is always the most exciting time of day. I love getting new foods and getting to try them. We're eating some noodle bowls here at Kazu, and we all ordered a little bit differently, so we can't wait to see what this come out looks like. You boys excited about lunch? And an Inextricable Fate over here ordered the kaidama, so he got extra noodles too. I knew we were getting noodles. I actually thought we were stopping in from ramen, but it wasn't until we got here that I realized it wasn't. Just the same, these are great looking dishes. Inextricable Fate over here with the kaidama. This extra loaded noodle bowl. Look at that thing. You boys excited? Both digging in. These are thick bamboo shoots too, and these are pretty good in these noodle bowls. This is a delicious lunch. We have been seeing advertisements for Imabari Castle since we picked Inextricable Fate up from the bus station, so it is well past time for us to go see this place for ourselves. We find a convenient parking spot just across the street in the city park and then wander our way over toward the castle. Imabari Castle. Look at that thing. We got to cross the moat, an official moat. We're going to walk right across the water on this bridge, and then we're going to get up there and go check out this castle. I love these sorts of things. Come on, let's go. If you are as excited as we are for the opportunity to explore a castle, then Japan is the place for you. Between 1596 and 1615, nearly 100 castles were built around the country. I mean, come on now. Is it really a real castle at all if you don't have a moat separating it from everything beyond? In my opinion, that moat is the perfect requirement between just having a cool house and having a castle. Unfortunately, an awesome moat like this, separating the castle from the city, is the exception rather than the norm. In fact, there are only 3 major water castles to be found in Japan. Imabari Castle here in Ehime Prefecture, Takamatsu Castle in Kagawa Prefecture, and Nakatsu Castle in Oita Prefecture. These 3 castles are known as Umijiro, which translates to castles by the sea. They each feature the unique moat, which is fed directly by the water from the sea, which flows in and out with the tides. Now this is quite a spacious front yard to be able to play in. I approve. What do you think? Want to play a ball game out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Imabari Castle was built in the early 17th century by Taito Toto, a military commander known as an expert castle builder. It was constructed on coastal land facing the Seto Inland Sea, and despite the weak ground, the castle was built combining the best construction techniques available at the time. It took a mere 6 years to build from the ground up, seeing its completion in 1608. The original castle design consisted of 3 concentric enclosures, each surrounded by a water moat connecting to the sea. This, however, is not the original castle that was constructed in the 17th century. Most of the castles to be found here in Japan are not. During the times of the warring states between the 15th and 17th centuries, they're estimated to have been as many as 5,000 castles scattered across the country. They had been built to guard important strategic sites like ports, river crossings, and crossroads. They incorporated the natural lay of the land into the defensive systems and towns built up around them. With the passage of time through the centuries and the shift away from the feudal system, the original purpose of these castles became less relevant. With many of them having been built from wood, they steadily succumbed to the elements, like fire, lightning, and earthquakes. Even most of those that survived the potential destruction by natural causes met their end by the 19th century. And Imabari Castle is no exception to that, with the present castle tower having been rebuilt in 1980 in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of Imabari becoming a city. Even for me, I have to duck a little bit or I'm gonna knock these things in my head. But for inextricable fate, oh, that's definitely a beamer for sure. Before heading on our way into the restored castle, we explore our way around the outer grounds, making our way from one shrine to the next. The animals seen here are foxes, also known as kitsune in Japanese. They are most commonly found at Inari shrines, 32,000 of which can be found spread across Japan, making up about 1/3 of the total number of shrines in the country. They usually appear in pairs, directly in front of the shrine gates, providing protection both to the spirit world and the worshippers within. We leave these crafty foxes a small offering of food before heading on into the castle. There is only one place inside where photography is permitted, so we take full advantage. Sword in the stone. Is that pretty heavy?
Not really.
No? You want to try the other one? Tell me what the difference is. Way lighter? Then, finally, we make our way through all 5 floors of the castle and emerge at the top of the observation area, where once again we're able to pull out the camera and soak in the view. Now, while we may not have been able to get to the top of the tallest building in the city, I'm definitely loving the view from up here on top of the castle, and I'd say it's probably second to none. The interior of the castle that we just worked our way up through serves as a history museum, photo exhibition, and natural science museum. It made for a very inexpensive tour at only about 500 yen per adult and completely free for students like Awesome Baboon. The city of Imabari. I wish we had time to see it all, but there's just never enough time. That's the one resource we just don't have enough of. So we're seeing a few things that we can along the way, but I sure am glad we got to come up here in this castle. Each floor got successively smaller as we climbed to the top, until once reaching the observation area, you can turn in any direction and appreciate a view out over the city of Imabari. And actually, right here, you can see where Inextricable Fate came to join us from. Right here in Hiroshima, he flew down right from that cloud to come join us here in Imabari City today. Kinton! Okay, we just made it to the top of Imabari Castle. We can't actually do filming in there, so we got the one shot of the swords because that's okay. Otherwise, we've kept the cameras off. But up here on the observation deck, we are allowed to record, and so we're gonna do exactly that. What did you guys think of our tour through Imabari Castle? What did you think, Awesome Baboon?
I think it was pretty interesting.
A lot of history, right?
Yeah.
The armor, the swords. Did you see the old scrolls with all the writing on it?
Yeah.
Could you read any of it?
Not really.
Neither could I. What'd you think, Inextricable Fate?
It's a castle.
It's a castle. It's just a castle.
It's pretty similar to the one in Hiroshima.
Which I hope we'll be able to show you one day. But for now, I'm glad we were able to take you up to the top of Imabari Castle and give you this amazing view of the city. Where are we heading next, Awesome Baboon?
Taito Station World Plaza.
What are we gonna do there?
Go to the arcade.
Go to the arcade, and we're gonna spend some yen?
Maybe.
Definitely. We're definitely gonna be spending some yen there. Oh, let's do it! It is not a very far drive at all from Imabari Castle to Taito Station World Plaza, and the whole way there, we are full of excitement. After touring our way through Imabari Castle and seeing a lot of the old world history, we are more than ready to get down with some New Age Japan. As cool as the castle was, and it was cool, this is actually the part of the day I've been most excited about. We are about to go get our game on. Game centers are a pretty big deal here in Japan, and Taito Station is one of the leading names in Japanese arcade gaming. Before we are ready to drop so much as 1 yen into any arcade machine though, our first matter of business is to explore the arcade in its entirety and see what kind of machines they have available for us. Photo booths are surprisingly popular here in Japan. Do you want to go take some glitzy glammy photos with me? No, we don't even do that. We have all these fun videos, right? It does not take us long at all to figure out that the most popular game in this arcade are the claw machines. They dominate fully more than half the arcade space, so we might as well try our luck.
It's so big. It bounced up the top.
He was robbed! Failing to win even a single prize at the claw machines, we move over to the gashapon where we know we'll get something. If Miss Mag were here, she'd know exactly where to find us right now. Oh, what did we get? Which one is it?
It's the grape one.
Oh, we got the grape flavored Mintia right there.
Well, I wasn't either. I went from there.
Oh, that's cool. Surprisingly, we don't find all that many games to play at the arcade that we're interested in. That is, until we come across the Mario Kart racing games. Awesome Baboon and I have been playing Mario Kart games together since he was able to hold a controller, so this is bringing us right back to where we belong. Plus, I always get the most enjoyment out of games that you can play with people right there next to you, so we go first player and second player and battle head to head all the way through the course. Despite neither one of us having played this version or raced on this map before, we are doing phenomenally well, holding first and second place the whole way through. It is neck and neck on the race to the finish line, but Awesome Baboon grabs the lead and won't give it back. Okay, that's going to do it for our time here at the Taito Station World Plaza. We had some fun at the arcade. Now it's time to go get our second prefecture. We're just gonna hop down into Kochi, grab 1, maybe 2 geocaches, and then get on to the end of our night. Making the jump from Imabari to Kochi, we hop on the expressway and cover some miles. Well, really kilometers, since outside of the United States, almost every other country uses the metric system for distances. City speed limits have a tendency to move pretty slow, normally ranging from 30 to 50 kilometers per hour in most places. Rarely do you even hold those speeds for long though, with thin roads, lots of stops and turns all along the way. Here on the expressway though, you can really expect to move. Well, by comparison at least. The average speed you can expect to hit on any section of the expressway is around 80 kilometers an hour, moving up to 100 kilometers an hour, which is the maximum speed anywhere in the country. That equates to about 60 miles per hour, and while that doesn't seem that fast, it's important to remember that perspective is everything. In a country filled with narrow roads and generally slower speeds, it feels like you are moving when you get climbing to 100 kilometers an hour. We zoom in and out of the tunnels between the mountains until, before we know it, we have reached Otoyo in Kochi Prefecture. This is an out and back for us, so after we stop off and view a couple of the sites and find a couple of the caches, we're going to turn right around again. And there we have it. Our second prefecture for the day, Kochi. 2 geocaches, and that is it. Our geocache targets for the day are done, and we are 2 prefectures closer to finishing off the 47 here in Japan. What's this, you say? A phone booth? Well, I guess I might as well use my phone a friend card while I have the chance. This is another thing that's kind of fun about Japan. The phones actually work. Like all of them. Isn't that weird? I point out the ground zero for inextricable fate, and with only one likely object around to search, it's not long at all before he emerges cash in hand. For those of you out there wondering about this bandage on inextricable fate's finger, he was busy working the other day and decided to bring a razor blade right through his finger. But don't worry, it was just the tip. For our second find in Kochi Prefecture, I decide to take the lead and see if I can make the find before the boys have to do the lifting. Can't let Awesome Baboon and Inextricable Fate have all the fun now, can I? We actually missed our original target, which brought us into Otoyo, but sounds like that's a good thing because we read just enough Japanese to know that right up here is the biggest cedar tree in Japan. So we just found, maybe not the world's largest, but still the largest, and you know we love those things. While making our first find in Otoyo, we found a sign at the bottom of the hill pointing up to what is known as Suki no Osugi. Inextricable Fate and I both speak enough Japanese to wonder if that might actually be true. It indicates that at the top of the hill is the tallest cedar tree in Japan. There was no way we were going to leave without investigating this for ourselves. And sure enough, after paying a small admission fee, we climb up and discover it waiting for us at the top. Designated as a natural monument in 1952, the tallest cedar in Japan actually appears as 2 trees, a north and a south, but they're merged together with a single root system underground. The north tree, the smaller of the 2, reaches up above the ground to a height of about 57 meters tall. The southern tree, with a slightly larger base, reaches just above its adjoined brother at a height of about 60 meters tall. That is a behemoth, and it may look like it's 2 cedar trees, but since they come in together down at the root system, it's actually just 1 tree splitting up above the surface. And as you can tell, they've had some damage over time, and they've done their best to preserve these just massive sentinels of trees. I sure am glad that we got off our route to come here, because this is a cool stop. We have had some pretty darn cool stops today. What do you think? Is this one your favorite?
It's definitely a favorite.
This is a favorite for me, and I didn't even know we were coming here. The one spot that's off the plan is the best one we've had all day. Imagine that. We bask in the feeling of victory, having found the largest cedar tree in Japan to close out our final geocache target of the day. While we soak in the amazing view out over the hills, Awesome Baboon still has a little bit of energy left to exhaust, so he goes ahead and runs it off.
Whew. 10 more times.
That was fast. All right, that does it for our first of 2 days exploring this area of Japan. It was a great first day. We started off in Ehime Prefecture in the city of Imabari, and that's where we spent most of our day. We went to the tallest building in the city, which unfortunately we couldn't get to the top, but it was still a cool tour. Then we went ahead and we went to Imabari Castle, and that was just awesome all around. And then we finished things off at the Taito Station World Plaza, where we played some games, got some cool prizes, and then headed out here to the country. We actually missed the geocache I was aiming at altogether, and that was the best thing that could have happened, because we had to come a little further down the road, and wouldn't you know it, we ended up at the biggest cedar tree in Japan. At 3,000 years old, that was a little piece of history that there's no way I would have wanted to pass up on if I knew about it. So it turned out to be a great day. What was your favorite stop of the day in Inextricable Fate?
The tree here.
The tree, you loved that thing? It was cool. How about you? What'd you think, Awesome Baboon?
I'd say the temple.
The temple? Yeah, the temple was pretty cool too. Right? You mean right outside the castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. There was a lot to see there too. We can't wait to get out there and explore a little bit more tomorrow before we go ahead and head on back home for a rest. Thank you guys for joining us as we take this tour of Japan. Remember to like this video, subscribe, stay tuned for updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.